Welcome to Wild, Women in Lending Determined to Make an Impact. I'm your host, Robin Lavasser. They say our biggest fear is not that we are inadequate. It's being powerful beyond measure. In this podcast, I will share how to break through imaginary ceilings, lean into success, discovering your purpose, and understanding how to create the business and life of your dreams. From failures to triumphs and all the tactics in between, let's jump into the wild arena together. Welcome back to Wild. It's the final episode of 2025 for me. And it's interesting. I actually put into ChatGPT and I said, gosh, what should I talk about? And I've been really interacting a ton with ChatGPT. So I really feel like it understands and knows me. And it labeled it the year that grew me. And I thought, gosh, interesting. And it kind of pulled everything that I have fed into it over the last year. And I fell in love with it. So I'm going to share it with all of you. Take a deep breath with me for just a second. And this isn't a highlight reel. This isn't a list of all the wins. It's really a moment just to honor everything that we grew in this year. And I'm going to share some of the things that I grew in and hope that you can relate to it. This year grew me in ways that I actually didn't see coming. I didn't ask for it. And sometimes I didn't even feel ready for it. But every single lesson really, truly mattered to me. So the moments that stretched me, they softened me, they sharpened me, they ultimately shaped who I am as I walk into 2026. And I'm excited to be able to share that with you. The hard things that grew me. I feel like there was a lot of them. And it's the part that we generally want to skip, right? We want to rush past. And I can myself be guilty of just over coaching and over tactical and over optimistic, if you will. And I can just barely scratch the surface on the hard things. And I would say one of the biggest lessons that I learned that I will do differently going into 2026 is being strong over being armored. And think about that for a minute. Why? Strength lets you feel it, and that creates more strength, if you will, when you can work through it. Armor keeps you from feeling it, right? And so some of us get very guarded. I know that I had moments this year when I got very guarded, armored, if you will, versus exerting or exuding my strength. And strength doesn't mean I'm not feeling any of it. It means I'm able to feel it while I'm pushing through it. And that's such a big difference. And so I learned that probably primarily in the loss of my mom. I learned patience with grief, real patience, because man, it can sneak up on you at any given time. And some grief, especially in tremendous loss, doesn't have a timeline. And it's the kind that shows up in random waves. It shows up maybe in a song, in a quiet moment in the car, in the middle of a work day. And I didn't realize this. I did an episode on it, but I didn't go to my mom's house after she passed away, my mom and dad's home after they were both gone for months. And the truth was I was being armored, not strong. And I really, really had to take that in about myself. And so I would challenge you, where are you being armored versus showing strength? Because they're very different. I learned that clarity has a cost. Sometimes the cost of letting go because you have a better understanding, letting go of maybe old stories of who you've been so that you can step into who you are becoming. And I learned that just because you're capable, it doesn't mean that you should carry everything. Let's say that one more time. Just because you're capable does not mean you should carry everything. Sometimes the most powerful thing that you can do in general is put it down. Put it down. And maybe nobody ever picks it up. Maybe somebody picks it up instead. It doesn't matter. You said, even if I could carry that, I'm choosing not to. And I've learned that multiple times this year. Multiple times. The good things that grew me. And I'll actually stay on that piece for a second. I can tell you, I lost some quality loan officers this year and some that I was very close to personally. And when they left, it's very easy to put up armor versus work your way through it. It's also very easy to want to carry it with me instead of say, it wasn't about me. Maybe somebody left and they didn't leave me directly, but they followed a path they wanted to go on about them. When I choose to carry things around, it means that I'm carrying it around, probably trying to fix it or belabor it or make myself upset about it. And there are very unhealthy things that we can carry with us every single day in business and in personal that sometimes you have to say, I'm going to put that down. I'm going to put that down. I'm going to leave it right here. Doesn't mean you don't care anymore. It means they're not going to carry it as a weight with you. Maybe it's an unhealthy chip right on the shoulder. There were a lot of good things that grew me this year for sure. Lots of moments that I would just smile about, moments that reminded me who I'm still becoming, what lies ahead. I watch some beautiful relationships that honestly I've gotten to deepen. And I think about that when it comes to my children and my husband. We were more than ever empty nesters this year. And there's been a beautiful relationship with he and I. We've gotten stronger in our communication. I know that sometimes I like to think of myself as the ultimate communicator and the problem solver and those things. And I could tell you one of the places I wasn't communicating well was in my own marriage. And so busting through that barrier showed me a whole new side to myself and a whole new side to what he and I could do together, which has been a beautiful gift across the board. And we've had a lot of fun with it. And the truth is, in those moments, I chose honesty over the I'm fine, we're fine. Overall, we're all good. It's not that big of a deal until it does become one. And so when you can choose honesty and clarity in those conversations in any relationship, you're going to grow on the other side. And you care enough that you want to continue to grow, because things that aren't growing are for sure dying. And that's a problem in itself. I watched my team rise because I chose to teach, not just tell. And what I mean by that is I have a habit of coming in and being the hero to all things instead of, I know you've got this, let me guide you, but let me not be the doer, right? In this situation. When we choose to teach rather than tell, we give them a new strength, a new capacity. And I can be so guilty of putting it all on myself instead of allowing them. They say that, if you take a man fishing and you fish overall form with them and you help them catch the fish, great. They still need you. When you show them how to fish and all the things that go into it, it's not they'll never want to fish with you again, but they have the ability to put that fish in the boat themselves. And what a gift that is in leadership. And I've continued to evolve in that space, and hopefully you can relate in that way. I watch my family center me in ways that no goal or achievement, if you will, ever, ever, ever could. And that's really, really, really important to me. I made some tough choices, if you will, work, family, doing the right thing versus, trying to be everything to everybody. And, just my daughter having a baby and choosing not to attend a big conference at work. It's funny. I had a gentleman in our company call me and he said, you asked for takeaways from the event. You weren't there and everybody's giving you all these tactical takeaways. And he said, Robin, my biggest takeaway was you. And I was like, me? I wasn't even there. And he said, the fact that you stayed home to watch the delivery of your grandson, and even better yet, you didn't fly down the next day. You stayed home for those days and you stayed fully centered and focused on your family, and you didn't try to be in both places, and your daughter would have forgiven you or understood or not even been upset, and the company also would have, and yet everybody deep down inside wanted you in two places, and you made a decision. And you always talk about family first, and you set the very best example by giving people permission to do that and recognizing the world's not going to end. And that was just a huge lesson for me. I watch myself lead with heart, build people for sure, and chase growth with joy, not nearly as much pressure. And I can tell you in 2024, I felt the pressure I was putting on myself. And I know that I've improved that in 2025. I learned that I don't have to have everything together in order to make an impact. You don't need to be perfect. In fact, you just have to keep showing up with the right intentions at the root of everything. And that will take you so much further in general. What this year has taught me in leadership in general. Leadership is, I think it's one of the toughest things out there to learn, to understand, to take the hits, if you will. There's a lot of hits that you take as a leader in general. Leadership is not about perfection, if you will. That's the truth. It is certainly not. It really is about presence. And what's really crazy about that, so is family and friendships and any relationship. It's not about perfection. It's about presence. And when you can be fully present in anything, you are serving it at the highest level. And that is no different when it comes to leadership. I've learned that the greatest power in myself is not strategy or systems or even results. It's my ability to say, I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to go find them, or I'm right here. Let me go dig in. Let me stay curious and all of that. I'm figuring this out with you. And for a while there, I know as a leader in general, you see strength as sometimes knowing it all. Sometimes it's very much not. It's I'm willing to work through this hard part with you. I'm willing to grow through this with you. I don't have to always have all the answers for people to love, respect, and want to stay engaged with me. That was a big aha for me this year. one of the biggest lessons that I've really started to take away this year is development is not a department. And sometimes I want to make it a department, but it's not. It's a daily choice, right? Choosing to develop. It's commitment to become someone that your future self will be proud of, if you will. And I have moments where I feel like I developed backwards, right? I ruined the film. And yet the progress, if you will, of knowing, hey, I'm still developing, right? In the painful moments, one of the things that I like to do with myself is I'm driving home, maybe from a hard day, or I going to bed in a tough space, I'll say, whew, I'm growing, right? There's no testimony without a test. I'm growing today. And that has helped me keep my head on straight and have a sense of peace in general. So what will I take into 2026? And what will you take into 2026? What can you relate to in some of these little lessons? Patience is a strength, not a pause, meaning you don't have to stop everything, even though I love the power of the pause in communication. Patience is a strength, not one that I've been very good at over the years, but I am learning to have patience to let things develop. I am learning to have patience with others. I'm learning to have patience with myself when I'm just not quite there yet or haven't figured it out. Clarity is worth all the discomfort in the world. Clarity is worth all the discomfort. And what it takes to get there is discomfort. Often to get to the clearest picture, you have to have discomfort in the meantime. And it is worth every ounce of it if the end result is extreme clarity. And when we start to pull back or avoid or reject, if you will, discomfort, we are not seeking clarity. We're seeking to retreat back to our normal temperature gauge, if you will. Your capacity expands tremendously when you stop trying to control and solve everything. Your capacity expands tremendously. And I don't know about you, but it never feels like there is enough capacity. It certainly doesn't when I'm trying to play God in all of it. And I would say one of the things that has really helped me expand my capacity more than anything is prayer. Being able to give things to God and know that I am not in control is a huge piece of my life. And that's allowed me to expand what I'm capable of doing, presenting, interacting, connecting, all of those things. It expands tremendously when I'm able to give those worries that control the outcomes, if you will, to somebody who can see and do and has powers well beyond what I will ever have. And that for me, obviously, is, God himself. So every season has a purpose, even the messiest ones. And when we think, why is this happening, right? Like, why me? Why? And we have this resentment or anger or frustration through it, we're losing the fact, instead of saying, what am I learning during this challenging time? What am I experiencing? Like the death of my mom and going through it with cancer, I can tell you that my daughter-in-law is currently experiencing her mom just getting a really awful diagnosis around cancer. And I have new tools to help comfort her, to help navigate, to help offer some support and suggestions to understand the quiet moments or the tough days. I have new tools because I went through it. I can be somebody who not only empathizes, but also supports at a very high level. What a beautiful gift. If I'd never experienced it before, I wouldn't be equipped to be that person nearly as much as I am now, even with the hard that comes with that. Say one more thing. You are one decision away, just one, from a completely different year at any given time, one decision away. And the power in that, the power in being able to pivot, the power to be able to just make a different decision that could give you a different trajectory for the entire year is awesome if you really think about it. So as we close out the wild of 2025, I want you to ask yourself for a moment, who am I becoming? Not what did I accomplish? Not what did I check off my list? Not what did people expect from me? Who did I become this year? And who will I become next? Am I excited about it? How do I feel about it? What would it look like to enter 2026 with a new intention instead of pressure? What does it look like if you thought, instead of here's my new list of goals and here's my new this, and this, and you're feeling this amount of pressure, instead of saying, hey, my intention is absolutely this, and I have a plan that backs that intention, and I'm going to stay checked in and aware of myself and who I wanted to become this year and how I'm becoming it. Very big deal. And so my invitation, if you will, into 2026 is pretty darn simple. It's choose the version of you that's ready to grow, ready to lead, ready to live with more purpose, ready to love a little bit bigger, and ready to realize that legacy, yes, it's a lot of fun to have a lot of accomplishment, but legacy comes at a deeper level from the presence that you give to other people, because that's what people will never forget, right? The presence part of things is what ultimately has the biggest impact, whether it is with your clients, it is with your referral partners, it's with day-to-day business, it's with your home and your family life, it's with God. If you have the spiritual side to yourself, the presence that you have even within yourself, that's the legacy that ultimately lasts longer than any accomplishment that we can do. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the episodes. Thank you for letting me share pieces of my heart, whether we are learning or laughing or you're listening, whether you are growing at this time. By listening to Wild, you choose to share a little portion of my life and let me into yours, even if it's just in an audible level. And so I can't wait to see what we can create in 2026 together and as individuals. And if you stayed in the business, which has been a tough one, I am so proud of you and I'm proud of who you're becoming as well. I'll see you next year. Happy 2025.